your weekly show in Lansing, Michigan, coming to you live until I move out of.
And it has one episode.
Well,
This is episode 2, you're right. So now we have 2
so
episodes.
now it's 2 episodes.
Exactly.
That's what you don't get. Okay. Before we start, I want to blow your mind.
Okay.
This is going to be also this,
All right.
but we just met 5 minutes.
Something like that.
I'm going to tell you your
Whoa. Hold up. Let's hear it.
February 26th.
Now, how did you find this
It's
information?
on your
Wow. Wow. Awesome. I don't know if that's a good thing. I think you're the first person to check my Cameo account in months, though.
Yeah, you got
I think 3. I feel like I've done 3. 2 could also be right, though.
now. With that being
Let's go.
first of all, you explain how the hell this.
Absolutely. So I met Jake when I didn't meet Jake, when I met Jake's YouTube video called How My School District Stole Thousands. And that's the right title, right? Shit. What was the title? Stole millions. Okay, it was even worse than I'm even remembering. But yeah, so I watched that video and I was just like, this is crazy for so many reasons. I know. But yeah, so I thought your story was really interesting because you talked about your journey with like your school news. And it was just so parallel to my journey because I also had a similar trajectory in like taking over my school news. And it's how I found my passion and really like got myself into a creative headspace in the first place. And so I watched your whole video and I was like, this is insane that this kid was able to uncover all of this and then make this insanely well done video. But then also we have such similar stories. So I left this really nice comment and I was like, this is so sick. And then you found my channel and I was like,
Well, okay. Left with one comment,
I left one comment.
and then a few months later,
I did.
because originally I saw your first comment. Wow, this is so simple. And I did some.
Yeah.
Because it's your public.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow. This is real. And that was like, and then months later, back 3 months crisis. Then, I don't know how many months after that. Sorry, I have an idea.
Mm-hmm. Here we are.
So, like I told you, I have some topics, but I guess first of all, it's 30 minutes. So you did your high school. Well, you did your middle school.
Whoa, yeah.
First
Mm-hmm.
From
I think so.
high school. That one.
I think it was 21 to 22, more like 2020 because I technically did it my junior year as well, but nobody watched them. And I was like, it was before I had taken over because my junior year was still a class. And so they still had a whole team of people making the announcements. My senior year, they were like, we don't have a class anymore.
Oh,
It wasn't even a club. It was me. It was me and then 2 other people I was able to get. And then we would just go around the school just like grabbing whoever we could. Because my teacher came to me. She was like, no one, like there's going to be no announcements this year. And I was like, I'm not on my watch.
okay, so the way it was structured, shit, my microphone's peaking. The way it was structured was what? So it was originally a class,
Mm-hmm.
and then how did you do like the morning news stuff? Like, I want to know logistics here.
Absolutely.
How was it like broadcasted to everyone?
So I have to give some backstory. So you mentioned my middle school announcements,
Mhm.
and that's an important part of the story because when I did the middle school announcements, it was also a class, also highly structured, but they did give us a little freedom because we started this. I told jokingly to my friend, hey, I'm going to give you a show on the announcements. I'm doing the announcements now.
Karam's Corner.
Karam's Corner. My very good friend Karam, who's wants to be an actor, And he was like, yes, I need to do that. And so we started this series called Karam's Corner. And it was just like us every time we would make the announcements, just creating like a 2-minute, whatever dumb thing we could come up with. And it ended up getting people in the school really excited. Karam kind of became a legend, especially with how ridiculous we were pushing the plot lines and everything. And we would get in trouble a lot for the stuff we were putting in. And like 30% of the episodes we would make wouldn't even air because our teacher would look at them and be like, we can't do this.
So I saw your compilation of all the Karam's Corners.
Yes.
I haven't watched all of it.
Yeah.
I've started it twice.
Awesome.
Separated by multiple months in between.
Mhm.
When I first reached out and then also last night.
Yeah.
And so is that compilation just for the high school or is
Yes.
that okay?
So then flash forward.
The middle school was what? The Michael Scott parody?
Yeah,
saw that
except
on
that
your
wasn't
YouTube.
even Karam's Corner. That was just something we made as like a thank you to our teacher. Like that didn't even
Mhm.
go on the announcements. That was just something we made. I don't even think any of the middle school stuff, it's probably still on the YouTube channel. I can get that to you. But
Yeah,
for
don't-
example,
fine.
the compilation of all the Karam's Corner on my channel, that's all the high school episodes we made in senior year.
Mhm.
Compilation of the whole thing. The YouTube channel those were housed on somehow got deleted. So if I didn't back up all those episodes, it would literally be lost media.
Was that when the class became defunct?
Yeah. So we started my junior year. I took the announcements class, but it was during COVID. So there was about 20
Right.
of us making one announcements episode per week virtually. Nobody watched it. Nobody cared. My senior year, I take over.
How was this being like distributed?
It was just posted on YouTube, and I
Okay.
think they'd email a link.
Oh,
To,
one
like,
of those. Yeah.
But no one was watching this.
Sure.
It was COVID. Kids were barely paying attention to school. But then my senior year, people are finally back in class, and I start to run the announcements again. And I approach Karam, and I'm like, I'm running the announcements like completely my own this year, and we're reviving Karam's Corner. And he was immediately on board. And so that video on my YouTube channel is a compilation of every episode of Karam's Corner we produced. So it's not all the intact announcements episodes. It's just the Karam's Corner stuff because that was like the only stuff I cared for saving. And then
Sorry, I was just neurotic, making sure I was recording.
you're good. I totally am the same way. But yeah, so Karam and I just worked on that the whole year. And then the first few like 30, 40 minutes are like kind of badly edited. I was still using iMovie.
I could
But
tell.
then, yes, I was using iMovie. I was into video editing, but I had never really like taken it seriously.
Mhm.
But then my teachers told me like, you can get like Adobe through the school, and I was like, I didn't know that. No one told me. And so I started to edit on Premiere. And I don't know if you got to this point of the video, but the first one I edited on Premiere is a full-on Neon Genesis Evangelion parody of the theme song, but with Karam's Corner. And
I don't think I've gotten that.
I would recommend watching that because that was like that was like the first thing I edited on Premiere Pro, and I was like, wait, I can actually do this.
Mhm.
So that was like a huge turning point.
So, okay, so you were doing this independently, not a class,
Yeah.
not a club. How was it being like sent out to the whole school?
So there is 5 extra minutes at the beginning of second hour that are dedicated for those announcements. There was no class to run them.
You guys
So-
only had 5?
Yeah, just 5 minutes to do the announcements. So my videos had to be 5 minutes or less. But I would just the first semester we didn't have our own like set aside time to film the announcements. So we would literally we had a teacher that I had class with, and she would let me leave class because she knew I was like legit. She would let me leave class and film with him. And Karam was just the type to never be in class anyways. So it worked out. So we would just leave, we'd film, and then I'd go home. And then after practice or whatever, I would just spend 5 hours editing whatever I had. And I would do that twice a week because we would air them on Tuesdays and Fridays. But then I would basically have to send the link to my teacher beforehand, and then she would either approve or disapprove it. Once again, a lot of disapprovals. And then they would send the link to all the teachers, and they would have to watch them during second hour. Some of the teachers would not play them because they thought they were too silly, but other teachers thought they were great.
Mhm.
Others were just like, I don't know what's going on because it was very brain rot. But yeah.
And so this was in high school. How big was your high school?
Ooh, we had about 2,100 students, and there's about 550 students in my graduating class.
All right. Fair enough. So you did that for the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm trying to think.
Mm-hmm.
So you pretty much took over that, you said.
Yeah.
Was that a lot of work?
Yes. It was my full and utter dedication. My whole senior year, I did sports, I did theater, but at the end of the day, like Karam's Corner and the announcements meant everything to me. So I would just spend like upwards of 10 hours a week editing it on my own time, and I wasn't getting class credit for anything. I just truly for the love of the game. And I'm so glad I did, because it is how I found my passion. And like I always knew that I wanted to do like movie making and stuff, just because I've always been doing that since I picked up my dad's iPad. I've been making movies. But it was really like I didn't realize I could make that my career, and I could actually like try to do that until I truly let myself experiment and just get better and allow myself to be awkward and bad at 1st, but then improve with.
Can you pass me my hot chocolate just so I can sweat even more in here?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you did that for senior year.
Mm-hmm.
So you said first semester you didn't have time in the day. Did that change second semester?
Yes. So with the success of the first semester, we were able to get an independent study approved. So me, Karam, and Karam's friend JD, we would just get to go down into the abandoned announcements classroom and have an hour to ourselves to do whatever we needed to do to make the episodes. And so some days we'd be like coming up with ideas. Other days we'd just be filming the whole time.
Wait, you said you had an hour daily?
Yeah, it was like an independent study class. Yeah,
So just instead of one of your classes?
Yes, it was. We got very lucky because we were able to get our teacher was just so supportive of us that she was able to be our like sponsor and everything, because it's not like anyone can get an independent study. You have to have like things you're actually doing to get credit. But that really changed things for us, because we actually had time during the school day to work on it instead of having to like go after school or go in between classes. So it was just like a huge game changer, and the episodes just got weirder and weirder, but in a fun way.
And so public reception of it was pretty good.
Yes. There, we obviously had our detractors. You know, not everyone's going to love it, and that's okay. But we had a lot of people that were fans, and I literally have had people come up to me at MSU telling me they knew me from Karam's Corner.
Wow.
And I think that is just the greatest thing ever. And I've gotten a couple of my college friends to sit through and watch the whole 90 minutes. And it's just great to see people's reactions, because they're like, "What drugs were you guys on?" And I'm like, we were just being crazy high schoolers. We were just letting our imaginations run wild. And I literally would always tell Karam, like, there's no idea that's off limits. Whatever we can think of, we can make. We have a green screen and a dream.
Okay, so I watched, again, not all of it,
Mm-hmm.
but the parts that I did watch were very different from the morning announcements that I did.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you guys, it's just like pure comedic segments, it feels like with some stuff in it.
Yes.
That's like actual like school kind of policies, but just pure, I guess as you put it, pure brain rot.
Yeah.
That's very much different from how it was for me, because for us it was like 70% of it. We had 10 minutes. 70% of it.
10 minutes. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot to
And
fill.
still some teachers didn't put it on, which was crazy. But we had 7 minutes, which was, or like 70% would be for like yearbook drive, lunch, the sports schedule, and all that kind of boring shit.
Yeah.
And then it would be like, I would be the one who was always going out of my way to come up with all those extra shit. So was it, I guess, I think a key difference there, which is standing out to me, is that were you each, because you said Tuesday and Thursday?
Yeah.
Was that each time something new that you're, wow.
Yeah, we were doing 2 episodes of Karam's Corner a week for that whole time. So that's why there's 90 minutes of Karam's Corner content. And like I mentioned earlier, like I didn't save any of those actual announcements, and those are now lost to time because the YouTube channel was deleted. But I don't really care, because it was just like boring stuff.
So you guys also had to do the boring
Yes, we
shit.
did.
Okay.
Also, I just didn't save any of that stuff. I archived all of Karam's Corner because I was like, I don't know what's going to happen to this YouTube channel that I don't own after my time is gone.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure I had that backed up, and now I'm completely grateful I did. So the only thing we have memory of is the crazy announcements, the crazy part of the announcements that weren't actually announcements. And like you said, in the beginning, it was like we were incorporating some of those school policies but making it fun. By semester 2, that was about like 10% of what we were doing, and it was mainly just brain rot and random storylines.
So what, again, my apologies for not having watched through it all.
Yeah.
But what was it ending up, like, give me an example of one of those later things.
One of the later episodes we did was called, what was it called? I can't remember what it was called, but I remember the story. because we had this reoccurring villain who was like the band director, absolute legend. And so he would always, like, whenever we would ask him to play this character, he would always come back, and he was just like our stereotypical villain. And we created this storyline where it was like Karam and JD are best friends. JD turns on Karam, works with the villain, and they have to. He wants Karam's hair, so Karam gets a bald cap. He gets his hair stolen, but then JD, like, it was like an Attack on Titan parody.
Okay.
So JD like becomes a Titan and like eats people, and then Karam has to use laser nipples to destroy him.
Wow.
I'm so serious.
And you guys were able to air this?
Yeah. No, I just added this. I added this. It wasn't Karam with the laser nipples. Sorry. JD had the laser nipples.
But there was
when he
laser nipples.
Yes, because he was attacking the people, and I was like, what if I just made the laser shoot out of his nipple?
All right.
And no one ever stopped me. Like, I was able to include a ton of little things like that no one would stop me. But then it would be like the small things that you wouldn't think would be an issue that they'd stop me for. Like, one time I wore like a tank top, and I got in trouble for that. So it's just weird.
That's some high school admin bullshit.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have to deal with, like, so you had the kind of censorship from the bureaucracy. Did you ever have much in terms of like backlash from people?
Yeah, we definitely had our haters, but they were a vocal minority. I don't really recall or have memory of much of the hater stuff just because I like didn't care what they thought at the time.
Fair enough.
Don't care what they think now because they weren't the ones that were making them. So it's like, okay, you try make something, make people laugh. Like it does, like not everyone's gonna laugh, but you know, if I like just having a couple of fans and just, even that is just enough reward for me. But we definitely did get a little pushback. There was like the main haters were the teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple teachers that just hated what we were doing.
Can you hold your mic a little closer? But
yeah, my bad.
You're okay. So that was that. So you had first semester, then second semester, independent study. How did it end up with the graduating and everything? What was the conclusion there? Or was there much of a conclusion?
Yeah, we wrote a final episode. There was actually so much drama while we were writing the final episode. There was we almost didn't even make the final episode because there was just internal drama between us, but that was just, I can't even remember what it was about. But luckily we were able to write and make the final episode, have a nice conclusion to the saga. It was very bittersweet.
Because, so it was like a true story, kind of?
It started out very episodic, but by the end we definitely had like serialized like characters.
Okay.
But it wasn't like it wasn't like a completely, like it was definitely still very silly episode to episode.
So to a degree it was less so like Karam's Corner originally went from these kind of comedic segments being based on what was going on at the school to then just being its own kind of TV show in a sense.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. And so then, now that you're gone, do you know what's happened to the channel since? You said that it's all been wiped.
They deleted the whole channel, and I don't know who. I don't know why. I think it was an accident. I don't know what's going on with the Troy High announcements, but I don't think they have anything similar. I feel like I would have heard about it if they did.
I don't remember. I think I saw when I was researching. I maybe saw something, but it might have been your middle school. I don't remember which. There was some YouTube channel that I think you previously worked on that still existed, but I don't know.
Okay, if it was the Bullen Park channel, then yes, because that's still up, I think.
Okay.
I think they have all the videos from like 15 years back.
So then, going off of that was, as you said, it helped you kind of figure out what you wanted to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I assume that played a role in like college applications and stuff.
Yes.
And so you're ending up here in MSU, Michigan State.
Yeah.
Now, you have successfully gaslighted me into thinking that Lansing, Michigan is a real place.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I ever knew of it before.
Really?
No.
Capital city, man.
It is?
Yeah, it's the capital. Capital's right down that way.
Not Detroit?
No. Detroit was the capital a very long time ago for not long, but they switched over to Lansing like shortly after Michigan became a state.
I still feel not fully convinced that this place is real.
Well, I feel like there's a black hole under Lansing, so
yeah. I don't
blame you.
It's Lansing, and then right next to it is East Lansing, which is its own city.
We're in East Lansing.
Yeah.
East Lansing is MSU. Lansing's the capital.
And then there's also Waverly on the opposite side.
Yeah. I don't know much about Waverly. I just know about the Wizards.
So true. Okay, so there was that. So then from there, quick question.
Yeah.
Chronologically, and you'll also need to explain the whole phenomenon itself.
Yeah.
When does the Family Guy shit come in?
Can never escape me.
I know. It is all over your stuff.
All right. So
but specifically, what is it? The
Lois.
Kill My Peter?
Yeah, Kill Peetah. So that was my freshman year at MSU.
Okay.
January 4th, I think, 2023. It was over Christmas break.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved Family Guy, but I've just, Family Guy's like peak of ironic stupidity.
Yeah. So I want to clarify. I have seen one episode of Family Guy, and it was because I had to for a film class.
That's hilarious.
So just keep that in mind when
What
you're
episode of Family Guy did they make you watch for film class?
Shit. I think it was the one where, what is it? Peter's mom gets remarried, and then Brian has a radio station show.
I haven't seen this.
Mother Trucker, that's what it's called.
Okay, I probably have seen this, but I can't remember it, so I'm going to have to rewatch it, though, if you're literally being told to watch that for class. I've never been able to watch Family Guy for class.
It wasn't because we were watching it and it was like, this is peak cinema. It was because it was like, we were learning about like plot lines and stuff. And so it's like, okay, here's the plot line with the Peter's mom remarrying. Here's the one with the radio station. And here's the all the fucking cutaways. Jesus Christ. I never realized how many cutaway gags there are. It is crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so winter break, freshman year. Continue.
Yeah, I'm at my parents' house, and Kill Bill by SZA, like SOS SZA's album had just dropped like a couple weeks before, and so Kill Bill was having a huge moment, and for some reason, I mean, Lois parodies have always been kind of popular. She's got a silly voice. I just started singing Kill Bill in the style of Lois, and I was like, wait, I could just change the lyrics, make it about Peter, like Lois singing about Peter, and so I did that.
I might kill my Peter. Not the best idea.
And I kind of, for some reason, whenever you post a video that goes viral, you can kind of tell, like, as you're posting it, you're like, I feel like this one might be a banger.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and my mom literally got so mad at me, by the way, because I kept singing it to perfect the voice. And my mom came into my room. She goes, can you knock that shit off? I'm like, I'm so sorry. So I just had to use the last take. And then I posted it. I go over to my friend's house because I slept over at her house, and I showed her the video. I was like, look what I made, bro. Like, it's kind of popping off already. And she was like, that was awful. I love it. And then, yeah, it got 10 million views for some reason. Yeah, I think it has 11 million right now.
I think so, yeah.
But like, it started at like a bunch of like a huge trend. There's videos using the sound that have more views than my original.
There's a Know Your Meme page about it.
There is. That's like, and I found that, and I was like, this is my greatest accomplishment.
What is it? It's a video posted by @JesusGirl420.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that your TikTok?
That's my TikTok.
So that was that. How was it for you to kind of see that blow up?
It was honestly so much fun because I wouldn't have my job at this radio station if not for that video.
How did that work out?
Because that was like my biggest social media success I had ever seen. I'd gotten videos that had gotten like a couple million views before, but never started a trend or anything like that. And so I was SZA reposted a video with the sound on her story.
Wow.
And then Family Guy commented on it and everything. So I was like, this is huge. And so at this radio station, a couple months later, they had a social media director opening, and I was like, I'm going to apply. And in my interview, I utilized that. I said, yeah, SZA's reposted one of my sounds before, and I got the job. So it definitely was like, it's just such a pivotal moment in my life, because without that, I would have, like, it's just huge domino effect.
Sure. Is it annoying now to still have your TikTok comments be about Family Guy, even when you're not talking about Family Guy?
I don't think so, because I think it's cool that I have something that people recognize me for, even if it is kind of lame and dumb. At least what I think it's lame and dumb now, because I've thought, like, I made that joke years ago, so it's like still following me around, but like I think that's really cool. Like why do people know me as the Peetah girl? Like, I think that's hilarious. Like
It's also interesting because your TikTok, it's what, like, I think I saw you have like 183,000 followers or something.
Yeah.
And so you haven't, however, done like a helpful. I mean, I don't know much. I'm not on TikTok very much.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I'm a good resource or very knowledgeable about like the trends and the how accounts work. But it feels like you flip flop, and also on your YouTube, from like these very high quality kind of thought out things to also just total random bullshit.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember your theory, but I remember watching your severance theory.
Oh yeah, I know the severance theory.
What was your theory again?
My theory, and I know that I'll get pushed back to this if you're a Severance fan because people disagree, but I feel like the show takes place in Michigan. And I won't get into the nitty gritty, but I feel like it takes place in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Even though the show is filmed in like New Jersey, New England, I feel like there's just so many signs. Like they mention a couple of cities that are like on the Great Lakes. There's a humming of this song called "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald" that occurs a lot in season 2. That is a song about a shipwreck that happens off the coast of the Upper Peninsula, Lake Superior. And then like all the stuff about water, like Lumen's symbol being a water droplet and all that. Like the Upper Peninsula has so much fresh water, like it's like one of the largest reserves of fresh water in the world. Like and there's some other stuff too, but I feel like it would make sense if it took place in Michigan, just because of all these things. But I am a Michigander, so a bit biased there.
I think it's. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know it's not in Florida. That's all I know.
Yeah, too much snow.
Too
Yeah.
much snow. I will say it's interesting kind of looking at how you have this profile online, because it feels like you do kind of this flip-flopping between like, you know, it's like you'll post the documentary, what was it, Driven Apart, on your YouTube, and then you know, a week later post, what was it?
Oh, the Severance one?
Yeah.
I made a Severance brain rot edit.
Marked S in Fortnite,
yeah,
I think it was.
Yeah.
Or like how you have Bing chilling ink.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a banger.
That's a banger. And so I think it's interesting because it's like, I don't know. You like, I think I just find the flip-flopping interesting because I personally am someone who is like super passionate about it. So I always find it like, I'm able to like mentally categorize it as like, okay, these are some people who just like purely shitpost like for the hobby, but you do both.
Yeah.
So what is that like? What is your thought process regarding that?
I'm a multifaceted person.
Wow.
Yeah. So my brain, I'm a very comedic person. I always have been. I'm a producer of a sketch comedy show.
You're a self-proclaimed meme god.
I've always loved memes. Ever since I knew what a meme was, I was just like, that's so cool. And so I love being silly, but you know what? That doesn't mean I can't lock in.
True.
Yeah. And so sometimes you got to know when it's time to be serious and when it's time to be silly. And so when I have when I made that documentary, like, you know, there could have been a version of it that was all silly, but I wasn't going to make that because it wouldn't have been appropriate for the topic.
Right.
And I've definitely had my fair share of serious projects, but I feel like at heart, I'm just a little silly gal. So I feel like my heart is in comedy and shit posting. And but I do love to, like, doing something like that documentary Driven Apart was very it was a fun challenge for me, just to be able to make something serious like that. So
you've done Driven Apart. That was a student film. Was that part of a class?
Yeah, that was, I did a documentary minor. So I had a wonderful team. I have to give all my thanks to my team for that because they were seriously amazing. My producers, my editors, my crew, just absolutely amazing. Everyone we interviewed, they didn't ask for money or anything. They just wanted to talk about it. It was a very eye-opening experience. But yeah, that was for a class. So we had budget, we had support. I wouldn't have been able to make that on my own.
And so then you also did the Converse commercial.
Yeah.
So what was the story behind? They did a contest for like a commercial?
That was also for a class, actually.
Oh.
That was for my filmmaking capstone. We are in the filmmaking capstone, you have to make like 3 projects. You'll make a short film in the beginning of the year that's only like 2 minutes long, and then you'll have to make a commercial campaign that's like 3 different commercials. So that's what that was.
Right.
And we got like a first place national award. Got a couple of pretty high up awards. We got a student production award for the state of Michigan.
Yeah. You also got that for Parlay.
Yeah. Oh, you've seen Parlay? Oh my gosh, you really have done your research. Yeah, Parlay was for Sideshow, which is the sketch comedy show I produce, which is with this group called Telecasters at MSU. wonderful group. But really, all these big projects have in common, the ones that I've gotten awards for, it's my team, really. It's just teamwork makes the dream work. I know, but it's serious. Like, it's serious. Like, I could never have, like, that's what I love about film and video and all of this is just that it really can't be done on your own. Like, you can do stuff on your own, but I feel like working with people and collaborating will always expand your mind more and always expand your ideas more. And so I always make my best work when I'm working with people I trust and people who are hard workers.
I guess that's true. My immediate counter argument was going to be like, well, you did your TikTok stuff is primarily on your own, and that's where you got the I Kill My Peter. But like the catapulting of that into a greater phenomenon was because of other people interacting with it. And like you said, some of those have bigger numbers than your original.
Yeah.
I have a question about Parlay because I saw on your LinkedIn, I did my research. What was it? You mentioned like how a lot of the video effects was really difficult. How? Like, I don't understand. I watched it. Where was there a lot of video effects?
I have to remember because
like color grading?
Yeah, color grading, but also like what do we have to do? It was a lot of, we just edited for like a month and like post-production took like a month because like when we're working on a project like that we know we want to submit to festivals, if there's like the tiniest error in the background, I will go frame by frame to do like visual effects to key it out. So I definitely did some of that on Parlay. I can't really remember what it was because it was like months ago. But on Parlay and like Drunk Skunk and other projects like that, there were like there was one scene in Drunk Skunk where there was literally cords coming out of the back of someone's pocket from their mic pack. So I went in and I keyed all of it out, and so you can't notice it now. Interesting.
So Drunk Skunk, was that also for Sideshow?
That was not for Sideshow. That was for the filmmaking capstone as well. But it was perfect because the project was to make a sketch comedy, and I was like, I've literally made like 30 episodes of a sketch comedy show.
Right.
Like I'm golden here. So that was really fun. But once again, it was my team. It's always a collaboration. I couldn't have come up with most of the ideas on my own.
It sounds like then that a lot of these things, what's the difference between, or I guess how much is it that you're making these things with the goal of specifically your own creative fulfillment versus like the festival, the capstone, or is that really just like one whole Venn diagram overlapping?
It depends. It really depends because I had been making Sideshow this is going to be my 4th year as producer.
Mm-hmm.
And my first couple of years, it was just finding my footing and just trying to learn how do I operate a set. Once I got to a point where I was like, I think we're putting out really good output, I knew I wanted to do something for my team and win Sideshow an award, get us in a festival or two, just as like pushing it to the next level. Because we're obviously making this stuff for self-fulfillment. We're making this stuff because we have a great team of writers that are always coming up with amazing comedic ideas. But when I got that script and we saw that script submitted, I like immediately knew, I'm like, this has true potential. And if we really just like focus completely on making this the best we can, I think we can see it go far. And I felt, and that kind of, once I saw the success from that, it really changed my perspective on a lot of projects because it was like, no, this matters. Like we can't just say, fuck it, just go. We can't say, fuck it, do it in post. You have to say, no, we're making it the best we can do it now because we owe that to ourselves to try and improve. So I think it is kind of a Venn diagram overlapping because it's like, if you're trying to push yourself to be the best creator you can be, then you should always be striving to do better than the last. If that involves getting recognition, if that's your sign of success, that's one thing. If it's like a visual feat you want to accomplish, that's one thing. But I think it's a mix of the two that I want to see.
I'm gonna circle back to that because I find that really interesting. But how big is like your Sideshow team?
It's like, I'd say there's about like 15 like strong like people that always are coming back, and we have like 5 to 10 floaters that'll be there sometimes. We have a really like the people in my class, we have a really strong big group of us. So once we leave, there's going to be a pretty big gap. Like me and my co-producer are both the same grade and everything, same program, and like a lot of our friends and telecasters are also the same. Mm-hmm. So it's a moderately sized team, but it's definitely one of the bigger shows with telecasters.
How is that broken up, like in terms of roles?
Yeah, so we just have 2 producers,
Okay.
and we have 1 head writer, and basically the producers make all the decisions about what we're going to produce, what scripts we're going to actually make. But everyone else, we have weekly writers meetings, and so we'll just have free for all, submit any scripts you want, anyone in the club's welcome to. And then we'll make like 2 sketches a month or something, and so we'll decide whose sketch we're going to make, and then we'll choose the writer, and then we'll approach the writer and be like, do you want to direct? Sometimes they'll be like, yes. And other times they'll be like, no, someone else can take the directing for this. I want to do audio or something. And then we'll just send out a form and be like, what roles are you guys interested in? And then some people are like very consistent in one role. Other people like to get their hands on other things. And that's how you find where you're comfortable. So it's just a club where it's people who want to work in film and TV, and just a way for them to practice and get themselves started without feeling too nervous, because we'll train them on any position. Like if you want to do camera,
Hitting me. Overheat?
out of storage.
No, it should be good for storage. Internal temperature high. Oh, dude, come
Oh, there's a
on.
fan.
Where were we? Sideshow.
Something about sideshow.
Oh, okay. So, I think what I was going to comment on is how what is it? It seems like it's just like functionally just a group of friends who come together, all have like a writer's room for comedic ideas, and then just delegate the tech stuff from there,
Yeah.
which is kind of really cool.
Yeah.
I think that is a very smart way of doing it.
Absolutely.
I can see how you guys are able to put out so much.
Mm-hmm.
Because also like, you guys have put out a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
have you, Sideshow, I thought it seemed like it's been going since before you were here.
It has. It's been going for 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 30 years, because it is the second oldest show with Telecasters, I believe. Telecasters has 6 shows, and it branched off of this show.
What is
called-
Telecaster?
So Telecasters is like the umbrella that Sideshow is under. Think of Telecasters as like the production company.
Okay.
And so we're just like the biggest video production group on campus. And so we have 6 shows, Sideshow being the sketch comedy show, but it branched off of the sitcom we have, which is America's longest running sitcom, college sitcom actually. It's been going for like 40 years. It's called The Show. And so we branched off of that 30 years ago. And so there's been many a producer before me, but I luckily was able to become co-producer my freshman year. So I've been with the show for quite a while.
You came in and were a producer already?
Yeah, so I came in and I knew before I got to MSU I wanted to join Telecasters, because I looked up MSU TV, because I've always wanted to work in TV. So I looked up MSU TV, I found Telecasters, I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I need to get onto this immediately. And so I find them at like the club fairs they have at the beginning of the year. And then I find out that they have an open producer position for the sketch comedy show. I was like, I have to do this. Like after Karam's Corner, I like knew like sketch comedy is what I love to do.
Being neurotic again.
You're good.
You can keep talking.
I found out through Karam's Corner, I just love the sketch comedy format, because there's really no boundaries and doesn't have to be consistency between the sketches. It's just like whatever you can think of, if it's funny, it works.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there was an open producer position. I applied and I got it, and I've been with the show ever since.
Wow. How is it being the person, functionally one of the people in charge, like being the one to kind of manage of what goes and what doesn't?
I love it because it's what I want to do when I grow up, but I'm already 21. But yeah, when I like enter the real world post college, I would love to do what I do for Sideshow just professionally. I love being the one to call the shots and be like, we're doing this script, just because I can like see the vision in my head. And I love working with my team though. I like being the one to put together the team, because I feel like I can know where people's strengths are, and I like facilitate that well. So I love being on set, but I love like running the things too.
Fair enough. I think something you said interesting when we were just getting coffee before this is that you kind of had the realization at some point that you want to be behind camera, not like you want to be crew, not talent.
Yeah.
When was that, and how was that decision?
Yeah. So when I was like very little, I thought I wanted to be an actress. Like I wanted to be on Disney Channel, because that's like what you see. You know, when you're a kid, you can't really comprehend that there's all hundreds of people behind the camera. you to see what's in front of the camera. They're all shiny and famous and singers, and you want to do that. And so I always loved acting and performing, and I wanted to do that. And I don't remember exactly when the switch was that I realized I want to be behind the camera. But I mean, I even when I was younger and I wanted to be an actor, I was still making my sisters and cousins like go in front of the camera using my dad's iPad to just film stuff. And so it was a gradual process, but I'd say like by my senior year of high school, it was definitive. Like I didn't ever want to be in the announcements. I was like, no, I want to be behind the camera. I want to edit. I want to be in charge of that.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, part of it was like an insecurity thing where it was like I didn't want to see myself on camera, and that was just like a confidence issue. But I think I like to be the one to make those creative decisions, and I like to be seeing what's happening on camera, and you can't see what happens on camera if you're in front of the camera. So I like having that full on vision. Oh shit. I didn't even notice that. Do you want me to start from somewhere else? Okay. But yeah, I think it was just like
there's no editing in this at all. We keep in all the audio of you from you going to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, awesome.
So say again what you were saying, it not because of the camera, but because I wasn't paying attention.
So by my senior year, and I had been making videos and stuff, I just realized that you really make the big creative decisions, and you can really only like see what's going on if you're behind the camera. And like when you're in front of the camera, you have to be focusing on your performance and your acting, and you don't get to make those big decisions about a lot of it. And so it's kind of hard to describe how I found that feeling, but it's just kind of something I knew. I've just always like usually I would be in front of the camera just because I had no one else to make videos with.
Right.
Like when I was making videos and stuff when I was a kid, like I would just make music videos on my own. But it was really just because I like doing the editing and stuff.
Have you had much experience working on student films like outside of just the solid crew that you're tight with?
Yeah, I've had the filmmaking classes here were my first foray into that, really.
Mm-hmm.
And at first we made some crap. Like my first couple of films I made for film classes at MSU, you will not find them on my channel. I'm not proud of them. But I think that period is very important to go through. You have to make so much stuff you're not proud of before you can make one thing that you're like slightly proud of. And so I worked on a lot of stuff like that, but that was for class. But outside of class, this past semester, I really got to go into things outside of telecasters. And one of the biggest ones we did this 48-hour film contest.
Oh, yeah.
National college, 48 film competition. We got second place nationally.
Wow.
We got, the genre had to be silent comedy. And we had a couple of other stipulations. But I was the camera person on that. And we made this entire 6-minute silent comedy in a weekend. It was incredibly stressful. It was like a 13, 14-hour day on the Saturday we did it. But I'm doing another one for the Detroit 48 this weekend with the same crew. But it was incredibly successful, and that film we made has screened in 5 different continents already.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that was awesome success. But that was just I was just a crew member. I had nothing to do with the organization of that.
Sure.
But I love to do that because it's fun to just show up on set and know your work is done after you leave set.
Yeah. Can I air a personal gripe that I know you'll probably be able to relate to because you're someone else who's been in the editing chair before?
Yes, of course.
Isn't it crazy how sometimes you're working on a student film or something and it's the people who are in charge of the shoot, they just lack that part of their brain that kind of puts the pieces together and sees how everything fits together when it goes to editing.
You need to have an editor on set.
Yes.
You need to have someone who at least knows how an edit works and how it comes together when you're putting that stuff together, because that is the worst type of person to work with on set, is someone who thinks you can fix it in post. Because a lot of the time you can't fix it in post. You want to give your editor quality stuff. If you're trying to ask them to fix things that are just impossible to fix, you're not going to be happy with the product and blame the editor when it was your fault.
I would rather have the most bare bones empty thing than a messy thing.
Yeah.
There's been experiences where I've worked on stuff and am working on stuff where I'm getting footage that's not great or has built-in camera switches and stuff because it's multicam or whatever, It's like, I would rather you just give me the straight camera footage and then I can switch it myself.
Absolutely.
Because you get much more of that like fine motor things.
Yeah.
Or like instances where it's like, oh, we have like a it's like there's like a live studio audience, but they weren't mic'd up.
Aww.
Or there was no mic. And so it's like
Aw.
it then like caused like weird pauses for the people who were like doing a monologue. But it's like, what is this then?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just isn't that connection.
Absolutely.
I think do you think that's just naturally something that comes from like experience of being the editor? Is that you're like, okay, I now realize how crucial this is?
I think it's you can get that experience from being with the editor, but I think it's just important to consult every person on your team when you're filming something, going into it, consulting your editor, consulting other people who have editing experience. Don't try to be tunnel vision and thinking, oh, well, since I know everything about cameras, I can make all these decisions. Well, you might be making a horrible decision.
Yeah.
So I think it definitely having that, I think everyone who wants to work on film should be an editor at some point, just because it's like such an integral part of the process and it makes you learn so much. But I just think if you're not going to do that, the least you can do is have your editor on set or someone who knows about editing, so you're making them have an easier time.
Fully agree.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the editing layer, it's like you are then seeing how everything fits together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that otherwise you just wouldn't have, I feel like, if you're only doing sound stuff or you're only doing camera or whatever.
Yeah.
So you now, though, you do a lot of work at Sideshow, but you also do a lot of work at this radio station.
Yeah.
You are, what'd you say, digital media manager, director?
Yeah, digital media director.
What does that entail?
Well, I've only been in this position for about like 2 months, and it's still kind of like a transition since the time I've had this position, there's been no one on campus since I got it at the end of the spring semester.
Enough.
However, I'm now in charge of like all the video content. I oversee all of our art directors, our podcasts, all of the videos we make. So I have a lot cut out for me in the fall. But yeah, I just love music and I love video. So I love podcasts and all that stuff. So it's kind of a combination of a lot of things I love. And this radio station has so many talented people. So I at least have some very talented people to lean on.
You interviewed Baby No Money.
I did.
Which is crazy.
I did. And unfortunately, that interview is not publicly available.
Really?
Yeah, there was an audio issue. That wasn't my fault. But there was an audio issue. And so they haven't posted it yet. I don't know if they ever will. But I have pictures with Baby No Money. I have proof that I did interview the legend.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He's like kind of the guy.
He's having a huge moment right now. Very viral all the time. I see him everywhere and I'm like, yeah, I knew that guy.
Okay. I have to ask though.
Yeah.
I mean this as politely as possible.
Yeah.
And I'm not even doing like a bit to just have you explain it for the camera.
Of course.
Low-key, why should I give a fuck about like student radio? Because there's also one at Emerson.
Yeah.
And like I know about it, but like I don't understand why I should care. So like sell me on it.
Are you a music fan?
Sell me this pen.
Yeah. Are you great reference. Are you a music fan?
Yeah.
So college radio is really the catalyst for so many artists to get themselves off the ground. Every day we are sent thousands of songs. Literally our email is always backed up with songs from people with like 12 monthly listeners, people with thousands of monthly listeners. We get sent all of this music. And college radio stations are really that one of the last few remaining like grounds where like the true underground can like really thrive. Like, yes, we have the internet and everything, but like the people I know that work here are the people that are so adamant about finding the next big thing, listening to the underground, listening to the bull crap so you can find the best stuff. And so the people I meet here are just like all so insanely passionate, all so talented, and they're just, and you would think like radio's dead. That's the narrative that's been pushed on us. And when I came in here, like no one told me about this place. Like I had to find it organically. But once you find college radio, it really does change your perspective because radio isn't dead. We have a lot of fans. Every time I go live every Friday, I get calls, I get texts. We have listeners. And yeah, a lot of them are just like students, but a lot of them are people that have been living in the Lansing community and have been listening to Impact for like 30 years. And so we are like what I've just found is I've just been able to discover so many artists that I would never have discovered, connect with artists, interview artists, and have a freedom of expression. There's no other, how else am I going to get to broadcast my voice on a radio station if not for student radio? We are giving students that opportunity, and anyone can do that. It's not like you have to work here to be a DJ. Anyone can DJ if they're a student. And so it just opens up all these opportunities. And not only do we have music, we have news, we have podcasts, we have sports. We're sending people to like every MSU sports game. We have people going to cover them. And we are just like a lot, like you talk to anyone in the community, and like just so many people in Lansing just love Impact because we're just there. We're here for the community, and we're here to uplift the artists. So I know that was long-winded, but all in all, you should support college radio because you will truly find the most indie, DIY, artistic spirit at your local college radio station.
How are people able to, like, of course, the car radio, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
How else, is there like an app?
Yeah, we have an app and we have a website, and we play music 24/7. And you can also find on our websites, we have tons of articles written by like some amazing writers, and they're just writing about entertainment, music news. We just had a really great article drop about AI music.
I was about to ask about that.
Yeah. So there's just like, it's really like just keeping on the pulse of everything in the entertainment industry and the music industry. And yeah, my parents listen to my shift every Friday on the app. And so it's not, you don't have to be in Lansing to listen to it. And you can listen to college radio stations from across the country, because most of them in 2025 have these systems of online, because no one really has radios these days. I don't own, actually I do own a radio, but I never really use it.
Yeah. What time is your weekly Friday thing?
4 to 6 p.m. impact89fm.org, DJ Rochel, Fridays.
Duly noted. I was going to ask about the AI music. Have you guys had to, is that something you've had to deal with, the concept of when you're figuring out music?
Well, I am not the music director, and I'm not the programming director. So unfortunately, I don't really have a say in the music we play on air. And if we did, we'd probably have a crazier lineup. But we have people that know what they're doing to do that stuff. So it's their job they're sent music from promoters every week. So I'm also over the summer, I do media librarian work, which basically means I'm just organizing the music we're sent in and labeling it. And a lot of the times, the stuff we're getting sent, I feel like 2 or 3 things a day were sent. I kind of look at it, I look at the cover, and I'm like, this is giving AI.
How are you sent stuff?
We have an email.
Okay.
And
just like an MP3 file?
Most of them, if they're really indie, really underground, they'll send us an MP3 file just directly on the email. But most artists that have a record company or something like that will have they have downloader platforms they use. Okay. So they'll send us a link, and then there's just a download portal, and then you can just download all of the album WAV files.
Sure. Okay. So what do you do then with the AI music?
Well, if I think something looks like AI, I'm not going to log it into our stuff. But I really don't know what the process is for the music director, because she has relations with a bunch of promoters across the country. So, and I know she talks to them a lot. So she might have that already deal with them, don't send me AI music, because I know damn well Impact is not going to play AI music. The day we play AI music is the day I'm out of here.
So base.
So yeah, it's definitely, I feel like it's going to be a huge challenge in the coming years though, because unfortunately this technology is only getting better. So I don't know what that process is going to look like to flag things. But we play music by artists that we know, we trust, we have blacklisted artists. If you go into the broadcast studio, any Kanye song has "do not play" in bold letters next to it.
But he apologized to us Jews. Come on.
No, yeah, so we take things seriously. If we find out an artist is using AI, I'm guessing that we would stop playing them.
Fair enough.
And but yeah, AI is just the big conversation to have, not just in music, but in all media, all jobs these days. And it's scary, but I stand by that. AI can't create a new emotion. It can't communicate those true human feelings. And it can copy them and it can imitate them all they want. But at the end of the day, I love art because I want to get that human experience and I want to see life through someone else's eyes.
I just realized I totally forgot about something completely unrelated, but thank you for indirectly reminding me.
Period.
Okay, so that's interesting. The last thing I was curious about,
Yeah.
well, the last thing that I remember as of this moment that I was curious about is so, I mean, actually, maybe not the last thing, I don't know. But so you are someone who, at least from my own observations of your behavior, you have a unique behavior when it comes to social media.
That's one way to say it.
Yeah.
Unique, yeah.
Because, of course, there's famously Deck Check episode 1,
Of course.
where you talk about, which is from a year ago, where you talk about deleting TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
However, I think I can reasonably guess that you have since re-downloaded them.
Yeah.
But then when we were first messaging, or at some point, then you were like, I'm deleting Instagram again.
Yeah.
So what's that been like overall?
Yeah, I feel like my relationship with social media is kind of tangential to my relationship with myself. And if I'm having like a hard time in my life, and I'm having bad feelings about myself, then my social media feed is going to reflect those bad feelings and it's just going to end up hurting me. Right now, I'm in a positive, good place, and I am okay being on social media right now. But if I noticed that it was starting to affect my mental health in a big way, then I would probably take the steps to get off of it. And yeah, some days I'm like, I want to delete Instagram, I want to delete Snapchat, like I don't want to be here anymore. But then I missed like that month or two that I was off social media and I made that video. Like that was when Hawk 2 became a thing. And
you
it
missed
was
out on
yes,
Hawk
I saw, because I still was like going on Reddit and stuff, and so I saw people started to say Hawk Tua on Reddit, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And
dude, that's like the most famous thing from the past year.
I know. And it's like with how fast the internet moves these days, and also because my job was literally social media director before I had the digital media director position, I didn't really have the luxury. Like, I knew I was going to have to eventually re-download all of the social media that I had deleted, whether I wanted to or not, just because that's my job. And so, yeah, I'd say right now I'm okay with having social media. But, you know, sometimes I definitely do notice myself getting into those cycles, and it feels like it drains my creativity and stuff. So when I start to feel those bad pits of feelings, I take the measures I can to reduce my time with it.
I'll say I previously have done a lot of research into social media and its impacts on mental health. And what you're saying is like identical to what's been found, in that it's like it very much kind of reflects back what you're feeling, because it's like these are the algorithms that are perfectly trained to model around your feelings and your thoughts. So of course, if you're feeling depressed, it's going to serve you stuff that matches that feeling.
Yeah.
It's also similarly what I'm finding with research in AI. I'm also doing that. Yeah. How like people will like, you know, they'll talk to an AI bot, and then the AI bot like reflects their own behavior.
Exactly. And then they're like, this is so magical.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's just you.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just telling you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Or that's the same thing with the music and stuff. It's like, you know, this is just what's been determined as like the thing to make.
Yep.
I don't know. It's interesting. I'll say though, how do you deal with the like, I guess your answer might just be that it's a constant battle, but how do you deal with, because you were talking about like the FOMO of like missing out on stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So hard. Like I definitely, like that FOMO was so real. When I didn't have social media that month, I would text my friends on iMessage like 10 times a day just because I wanted to hear from them. Because I was like, everyone's forgetting I'm existing right now. Like I'm not posting, so am I real?
That's interesting.
You know, it's like I post, therefore I am.
Okay, well, what were you considering as social media?
I deleted Snapchat and I think Snapchat was first.
Okay.
And then I deleted Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all of those. Those are like Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat were like the ones taking up most of my time. So I deleted those, but I kept YouTube because I just love YouTube. I've always loved YouTube. Not gonna take away YouTube
Handshakes
from
on
me.
that. Yeah.
Not gonna take away YouTube from me. I pay for YouTube Premium.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
serious?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that serious? And so I would still be on YouTube, and so I would find out about like what people were taught. Like I'd still find out about the social media stuff like that was popular like a couple days after it. But yeah, I got rid of those apps for a hot minute.
I think it is interesting, this idea of like something you phrased it as in the video was you said like a digitized audience.
Mm-hmm.
Could have interpreted that in multiple ways. So what did you kind of mean? Yeah, I think living with a digitized audience in your head, or at least that's the note that I've written down from.
Yeah.
Expand on that some.
Yeah. So obviously I have a large history of posting on social media, and I can't really remember exactly what the headspace I was in, but I mean, at the time I was in a relationship, and like it was just kind of having like not the like the relationship itself was kind of affecting me mentally, like kind of putting me in a position where I felt isolated already. And I was kind of like, I felt like I was living for my boyfriend and then living for the digitized audience in my head. And I was like, so much of my decision making and so much of like what I'm doing every day is for these people I don't know. And I'm spending so much time focusing on my online presence and all this stuff. And it was starting to really affect me. And also not just the posting, but just the content itself, like knowing how people treat other people on social media, knowing that if you're not cookie cutter perfect, people are going to find something that they want to criticize you for, point out your flaws. And noticing that and seeing that hatred, it just really does a number on you when you're already feeling insecure about yourself.
Yeah, I certainly feel that.
Mm-hmm.
With being on the road, it's like I have very much not been on social media as much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like a kind of nice thing of like, I think you may have also talked about this in the video. I don't remember. But it's not like I just watched it last night or anything. But it like just also going out and seeing how nice people are and stuff. And whereas it's like I went on like Twitter last night because I was at some restaurant. Like, all right, let me kill some time. And it's just like you seeing like constantly this thing of like, you know, one person says this one thing and then it's like criticism of that, then criticism of the criticism of the criticism of the criticism, and it just keeps going back and forth, constant. It's just like it almost like immediately sucked the energy out of it.
Absolutely. Like, no, I'm so serious because it's like there's a joke where it's like people on Twitter will like attack each other for the smallest thing, where it's like people outside, hey man, how you going?
Yeah.
like it's like so different. It's like I literally had the idea for my documentary about public transportation when I was off social media. I was on a bus and I was just looking at all the people around me and I was like, this is so great. Like, I'm with these people of my community I would have never interacted with otherwise. Here they all are, like living their lives, being nice, smiling to each other. And it's just so different to what this narrative we're presented online, where it's like all this division and hatred. If you go outside, your community is what matters. Your community, the people around you is what matters. And being online too much and being in those echo chambers too much will just make you feel like there's so much more negativity in the world than there is. Because yes, there's negativity, but the only way to combat that is to make positive impact.
You're kidding
no,
me. Really?
Are they hot again? Both at the same time is crazy.
Both at the same time is crazy. What we were talking about?
Oh yeah, wait. What was I just saying? I like left off. I was saying something so insightful.
Base and just sick as hell.
I don't remember
just
what
like
it was,
the most
though.
moving thing ever.
But I was like about to say something so good. I just know it. We were talking about like AI and shit, and then I think I was saying something about I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I'm curious about, and we kind of talked about this already, is like where do you see yourself going from? Where do you see yourself going versus where would you maybe want to go from here?
Right? It's like, where do I see myself versus where do I want to go is the truth. Yeah.
You can also, if you want, you can totally pivot off of this into like, because everyone hates answering the where do you see yourself in 5 years question.
Well, it's always been the dream to work on my own like TV show. That's always been the dream. But I really want to work in, I want there to be like, I know SNL has been running for a long time, but I feel like sketch comedy can be so much more in 2025. And we don't have to accept SNL as the only sketch show, you know? Like, there's shows like I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson that greatly inspire me, and that's the type of comedy work I really want to do. So where I see myself, where I want to see myself, is I want to be a comedy producer, and I want to support the artists that are pushing boundaries, the writers that are pushing boundaries, because I think comedy is so important to a functioning society, to have that person that's critiquing society but making people listen. No one's gonna, like, it's so much easier to get someone to listen if you're cracking jokes about something. And
True.
so much comedy is trying to analyze those social interactions, the way society is set up, trying to question those and question social norms. And so comedy is just so important in 2025 and just throughout history. So that's where I see myself in the dream scenario. But where do I see myself realistically? Well, once I graduate 9 months from now, I really just want to have a well-paying job.
Fair
is the
enough.
main goal, because we live in scary times, and at the end of the day, if I can't support myself, I can't feed myself, then I won't ever be able to make the next groundbreaking thing. No artist can. It's a lot harder to make good art if you're starving. And yeah, like, there's some arguments about, like, the struggling artist, the starving artist. I don't buy that. I think that an artist can much better reach their full potential if they're well fed. Your brain doesn't function well without that.
All right, we're doing a debate off now.
Okay.
Because I hate the idea of just working some basic job
Yeah,
to, like,
absolutely.
make ends meet.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I want to, go work for ExxonMobil or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, I want to, if I have to compromise doing what I love to make money, I understand. If I'm like doing something tangential to what I love to do, which is make creative media, like I'm making commercials or something, like, yeah, I'm going to be disappointed, but it's better than nothing. And it's a jumping off point. So I'm not just going to settle if I get that boring job I don't want. I'm going to use it as a jumping off point. And I think any place to get my foot in the door is a good place. So I'm not just going to give up. Once I've worked my ass off for maybe 15 years and if I don't see any success, then maybe I'll accept that maybe I need a cubicle job or something. But I really hope it doesn't come to that. But I have friends that are already seeing really great success in the industry before even graduating. And so I feel like if I just keep working and keep those connections up, and, like, a rising tide lifts all boats. So I think it's important to support your community and just work with other artists that you love, and just doing stuff like this, just talking to other artists, talking to other creatives.
Sure. I think also there certainly is, to what you're saying of how, like, there is certainly a place for sketch comedy in the modern day. I fully agree. There's, like, a lot of sketch comedy groups now that are, like, more online based, but who I've seen, like, blossoming recently.
Yes.
Like, do you know of what are they called? Almost Friday?
Yes, we love Almost Friday. They're so
great.
funny.
Even though they're, like, I think they're backed by, like, Mark Cuban or something.
What?
Yeah. Because they get, like, Morgan & Morgan sponsorships. Like,
that explains a lot. That explains a lot. I understand that, like, they're getting money, though. I'm glad that they're able to support themselves.
Yeah.
But that does compromise your vision. That compromises what you're allowed to make fun of.
True. I mean, I don't know. Hasn't been, the only thing I've known about that being an issue for them was there was some drama with some, like, sponsor thing that was like one of the, like, video sponsors that was, like, a crypto scam, I think it was found out. And then they were like, hey, we didn't make the decision to pick them as a sponsor, but, like, we'll figure it out for the future ones, I don't know. But, like, those guys are what is it? Please Don't Destroy.
Oh yeah.
They're on SNL.
They're so funny.
Yeah. I only recently got into Tim Robinson.
I love him. He's from Michigan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've watched maybe the first 2 seasons of I Think You Should Leave. Great.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I just love the absurdist humor. That's always been what I gravitate to.
I think, yeah, because you and the Deck Check episode 1 mentioned the hot dog one. And so I just rewatched it last night, and that's an amazing sketch.
Right?
The, like, random. So good. I think, so I guess the last thing then is something I talked about with you previously that was, like, a thing to potentially talk about with this was the idea of like the creative process and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that like for you? I guess for you, I would guess it very much depends on what kind of thing you're making, right?
Yeah. I have my notes app is just filled with so many ideas. I'm one of those people where I can't force myself to have a good idea. It has to come to me. So I just try to live my life and do what I can, and good ideas just kind of happen from me interacting with people and just going out in society. Like you have to interact with society to be able to portray society and stuff, you know? So I usually come up with my ideas. A lot of the inspiration is from other media, you know, music, TV, movies. I watch a lot of stuff. Other YouTubers, that's always a huge inspiration of mine. But sometimes I'll just be washing dishes or something and just have a random ass idea. And there's a David Lynch quote where he's like, "You don't write down a good idea, and if you forget a good idea, you want to die."
True.
And it's like, that is so true. So I have all these like just notes and notes and notes. And sometimes they blossom into a bigger idea and sometimes they stay there. But I think it's important to nurture those seeds. That's and build off. I love working with other people. Like my funniest ideas come when I'm riffing with my friends.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think especially for things like well, I think actually all of humor is just that. Because then you're just able to build off of others.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot harder, I think, when it's building anything solely by yourself.
It is
a
so
comedic
much
thing.
harder.
Like the people who are able to, I can't think of any immediately off the top of my head, but I know that like there are a lot of comedians on like short form stuff or like TikTok or whoever who are just genuinely able to do it like seemingly solely by themselves. Crazy.
I know.
So difficult.
I don't know where the well of inspiration comes, but some people are just constantly firing that stuff off.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. I think like rest in peace, but Gus Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about Gus Johnson?
I recognize the name. What did he do?
He like abused his girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah, mental abuse, but you know, still not good.
Was he a comedian?
Yeah.
Oh. I feel like I definitely recognize the name.
He did YouTube sketch comedy. And
okay.
stuff. He was good for a while until the stuff came out. But like he was someone who was just seemingly able to do it by himself, and it's like that's impressive. But I don't know. I think a lot of comedy stuff. I think what you're saying. Now that I'm thinking about it, you're so right, bestie. And just like a lot of it is just you work better with a team.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's for serious things and research, then you can certainly have help with like things like writing. But I would also or pacing and sourcing and everything. But like for comedic stuff, I think just the ability to riff off of people is so helpful.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the times I'll write something or I'll have an idea. I'll write the full sketch. You read it to the room. It doesn't get any laughs because everyone's humor is just so different. So you need to have that audience reaction and build stuff off each other. I think the best sketches Sideshow writes is when we do our writers' rooms and we just bring everyone together to try and write something together. Sometimes there can be too many cooks in the kitchen. But, you know, I love that collaboration. And you can't make things, if you have a really big idea, you shouldn't try to limit yourself and you shouldn't try to do everything. That used to be how I was. I was like, I have to do everything. But no, you have to have the trust to let go. Let your team take some of those roles.
Yeah. I know that's something that I fall into a pit with a lot. Because it's like, yeah, I could have them do it. And I think they could do it. But like it would take more time for them to do it or for me to explain to them.
And you don't know if they have the same passion and trust and wanting to make sure everything is done right as you do. So it's building that trust and making sure you're working with people you are going to do the job well. And once you find those people that you work well with, it's just magic. And it never really feels like you're working because you just love what you're doing.
Yeah, totally. Let me check my notes, make sure I'm not forgetting anything else.
Yeah.
But I think other than that, that's kind of freaking it.
Let's go.
That's kind of freaking all that I had to freaking... Why do you have so much Family Guy stuff? That is, I don't have this
I really don't know how to describe the Family Guy obsession other than that, like
the Walter White family Stewie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dude, so there's this brand 69 Hats and they just like knew I was the lowest girl, so they sent me that doll for free.
Wow.
Which was awesome. But yeah, I just think the concept of Peter Griffin is really what draws me in. Because like here's this guy that's just like loving life, you know? Like he is just truly being himself. And, you know, there's a lot to say about the decline of Family Guy, but in its prime, Peter, he's emotional. He cries. He laughs. He loves. He's a true family guy. And I love that.
I can't tell if you're doing a bit right
I'm
now or
really not. I'm being so serious. Like, Peter Griffin and SpongeBob are my greatest inspirations because they're just like me. I think it's like I love people. I love talking to people. I love showing myself, and I'm not afraid to show my emotions. SpongeBob and Peter Griffin, when they show up in a room, they're going to be their damn selves. And that's what I love about them.
All right. Fair enough. Then I think let's just end it there on that high note. Unless you have anything more you want to add.
Nah, that's really it.
All right.
Shout out though, Family Guy. You know, if you need an intern.
Shout out Family Guy.
Seth MacFarlane.
This underground TV show, Family Guy.
I'm so for real.
All right.